Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. So today we are going to go over a little project on how to make something for a little Halloween gift that you can have for yourself, or you can make for family member, or you can start selling them. We're going to use these two old boards here, and they've been around for a while, and I'm not sure what they were used for, but they're all uh, bowed and cupped and everything, so we need to plane them down first, and then we can go on to the next steps. All right, so we're going to do this project in Fusion 360, and this is a basic project. It's just a little like coffin candy dish, something or another. I don't really know. That I want to try making. Thought it was a cool idea for upcoming Halloween. But the real thing I wanted to show, and why I wanted to make this video, was in these pocket engravings here. I'm going to do a technique using solder, and we're going to put solder inside of the pocket, and then we're going to sand everything smooth, so it's going to be like a solder inlay. And I've never done that before, but it looks pretty neat on how it's done, and it actually looks like there's actual metal in there. I mean, I guess it is because it's solder, but um, so that's basically what we're gonna do, and why I created this project, just to try that out. So I probably went a little over the top with the different designs on here, but oh well, we'll see how it turns out. So there's the showing the top, and then here's our bottom with about a 1 inch deep pocket in there, and that's a lot of material removal, and probably going to take a while to do that pocket right there. But we'll see how it goes. And another thing on here, we're going to do some double-sided machining, because we on the top here we have this piece, and then we have this little lip on here that we need to get rid of. And so we'll just do and set up some double-sided machining, and that'll work too. And plus, also on this piece right here, this is like an inch, what is it, an inch, 1.316. So it's a little over an inch and a quarter, and I really don't want to neck down one of my tools. So we're going to go ahead and double side machine this also. We'll cut halfway through on the top side after the pocket, and then we'll flip it over and cut it out on the bottom side the rest of the way. And that'll work. That'll give us some little bit of practice, and be able to show you the double sided machining method that I want to use. Here for the top side, this is how I'm setting up the cam. Basically here in the model, what I did for the top of the top side is I set up these little blocks, and these are pre-measured for my stock. And when we go into cam here and click on our setup, you can see that I've specified my stock, and these are well within. What these are going to do is hold the pins. Little wooden dowels are going to go in here, and then when we flip it over, we're going to basically, we'll start out here, and then we're going to flip it. Yeah, we are going to flip it maybe. Let's see. So we'll start out there as you're looking at it from the front, and then we'll basically go like that, and then machine the bottom side. So uh, that's, yeah, basically how we're gonna do it. And so here I just did a simple 2D pocket to surface it down a little bit, and it'll work pretty good. So first we'll do that pocket, then we'll come in here, and we'll, so we're not changing tools all the time, we'll do half. We're gonna halfway cut this out and machine down, and we'll do that contour. But mind you, it'll still be held in because we'll have all this material underneath of it, so it won't be a problem. And then we'll go back and we'll do the pocket engravings, and we'll bore holes for our pins that we can put in. And once you do this and you finish this one top side, before you run the bottom side program, you can go ahead and just post-process out this single bore operation, and bore those exact holes in your table. And of course you'll have to re-zero off of the corner of your stock once you flip it, but you can drill these holes anywhere you want and they'll line up every single time because they're in line on all four sides. So after we finish that, then on the bottom side machining, same thing. I set up with the blocks. We don't need to drill any holes for the dowels because we already have the dowels in on the underside. I got to surface it off a little bit more again and come back in here, and we'll just cut this little dado or groove out, and then that's pretty much it. Bottom, we're just going to come in here and just do basically what we did on the other one. We're going to come in here and take all this material out in the center here, and then we'll machine halfway down on the cutout, then we'll flip it, and then we'll machine halfway down on the other end. So, but let's go ahead and go into the shop, and I'll start cutting it, and I'll show you kind of what we're doing, and then we'll go ahead and use that solder technique. Alright, so I want to show how I'm going to hold down this material. I don't want to put my clamps on the top side here. I want to have them a little bit lower so I can use shorter screws. So what we're going to do in the end of this material here, because we have some room, our dowels aren't until back here and we got some room. So I want to be able to cut a dado or a pocket into the end grain of this piece of material so I can stick my clamp into it, and that's how I'm going to hold it down. So I'm just going to use a drill and then a little trim router to make that happen. So I just need to drill one hole in the end grain and then go back over it with the trim router to create my little pocket. Alright, so now we have our piece bolted down to the table, and let's go ahead and cut out the top side of the top, and then we'll go ahead and flip it over and we'll do the bottom side of the top. Alright, so we just finished cutting the top side of our little coffin project, and it turned out pretty good. I did, once it drilled the holes for the dowels, I drove the dowels in. They go in a 1/2 inch deep, and then now we need to cut our holes in our spoil board so it lines up. So, and all I do is I keep the same 0 in Mach 3, and then I'll go ahead and re-zero the tool on the spoil board, cut my holes, and then put my board on there, and then re-zero the tool back on top of the stock. So, and you can see over here the cut came out pretty good. I was using an upcut spiral, not preferred. I'd like to use a down cut, but it came out alright. So now we'll go ahead and cut the underside of that, and the top side will be more or less done of the machine work. Okay, so now we drilled our holes in our spoil board, as you can see here and here, and then there's two more on the other side over there. So what we'll do is we'll take the stock, and just like in the program, we'll flip it over just like that, and we'll line it up with those dowels and put it in there. So. If you did everything right, it should line up perfect as you flipped it. Okay. You can use light pressure to push it down, and we'll use a hammer to put it down the rest of the way and make sure it's nice and flat. Now we're nice and flat on the spoil board, and we can go ahead and cut the bottom of the top side. Alright, so we got all the machining done on the box, and it turned out pretty good. It fits together real nice. I got some surface finish issues on the sides, but those can be sanded up and cleaned up. I was just trying to remove too much material too fast. So, but for a first time project, turned out pretty good. So lid fits nice and tight, and works out pretty good. So when I was trying to hog out the center down here, I was way too aggressive for this pine, and it really chewed up the inside here. I don't know if you can see that, but wasn't real good. That would be kind of hard sanding out, but good thing it's on the inside. So, but fits together nice and tight, and turned out to be good little box. So now we'll go on to the next step of putting our solder in all the pocket engravings, and then we'll go ahead and sand it off. And I haven't decided whether if I'm going to paint it black or not, but we'll see how it looks like after the solder. So I'll show you a little bit of how I'm going to set that up and how I'm going to apply the solder, and we'll see how it turns out.
Hey everyone, so I think we're going to make this into a two-part series because I got to get some more materials to finish this box, and I'd really like some input from the subscribers and anybody about the way that we should finish this. So should we paint it black after we do the solder? Should we just wood burn the natural wood look? You know, what should we do? Should we bondo it so it's like a super nice surface, or I don't know, just let me know. So we're gonna go ahead and make a part 2, and I'll get that going here pretty quick. But I wanted to talk a quick second about how to support my channel. I did here on my Etsy store, I made this project available as a digital download. You get the F3D file from Fusion 360, and for $5. And what this does is, you know, the money goes towards being able to support the channel, and so I can do different projects and stuff like that. So I made that file available on my Etsy shop, and that'll help me out a lot. And then I also created a Patreon page that is really neat, and I think this could be a really good thing for, you know, Patreon supporters, and being able to get Patreon only things, plus also being able to do a live stream. I'd really like to do a live stream to be able to answer questions for people, and you know, be able to get together in a shop and talk shop for a while. That'd be really neat. So, you know, and this money is not going to being blown on Skittles and candy and soda and everything else. It's gonna go towards the videos, to make better videos, you know, get a better quality microphone, maybe a better quality camera, do more complex projects, just being able to, you know, build a better YouTube channel. So I just want to explain a couple of ways that you can support the channel. Of course, subscribing always helps too, and letting everybody know about the channel helps. But yeah, so we'll get part 2 of that video out pretty soon. But give me your feedback on how you think it should be finished.